Potato, and today we're interviewing a boomer. This is our Nan, and we're going to be asking questions about what it was like when she was younger. So let's start with the baseline questions. These are just opening questions. So, when were you born?
1961.
So that makes you.
Too old. 58.
Okay. And when did you go to school?
I think I was about 4.5, so that would have made it 1965, maybe 66.
Okay. So that's baseline questions. What was school like back then?
Truthfully, quite horrible, really. The classes, when I see the classes now, they seem all very bright, and the children seem to be all happy, and the teachers actually seem to be quite nice. But when I was at school, it wasn't like that. The classrooms were quite dark, and the teachers were super, super strict. You couldn't get away with anything. And I didn't really like school, to be honest. I'd liked it a bit better when I got older, but not in the beginning.
Can I just ask a quick question?
Carry on.
Were the schools, were the classrooms, were they big or small?
We had smaller classes. You have lots of children in your classes now, don't you? How many children do you have? Over 30?
Well,
something?
30 in our class we have 30 or 27.
No, you see, when I was younger, I think there was only about 16, maybe 20 in a class. A lot smaller.
Wow.
Mm.
What was public transport like?
Well, we used to have buses and trains, and I didn't used to go much on the trains. I used to go on the buses a lot. And back in the day, you used to get on at the back of the bus. You know, now you get on at the front and the driver's there and you pay him and he gives you your ticket, whatever. Back in my day, you get on the back of the bus and there were stairs going up, and then to this side there'd be the other seats. You go and take your seat, and a little man or a little lady called a clippy, they used to call them clippies, and they used to have a machine hanging on their body at the front here, and they'd tap in your numbers. You tell them where you're going, tap it in, turn this little handle, out pops the ticket, there you go.
I can imagine that, like walking on the bus.
Yeah.
I can imagine it.
Poor clippy having to go up and down them stairs though.
That's different. Imagine every day just standing there doing that.
Yeah, and the buses were also more dangerous because now when you get on the bus, the doors shut behind you, you're all closed in, aren't you? Well, because the back end of the bus was open, you had a little pole to help you. I actually, when I was about 14, fell off one of them buses. Because I will admit I was being a little bit stupid, but I was standing by that bit, the open end, and being a stupid girl, I fell off the bus. So that's probably why they changed the bus design, things like that.
Yeah. Were wheels really square?
How old do you think I am, for goodness sake? No, they weren't. Not in my day, anyway.
Okay. So that answers the question, they're not square.
No, not square.
Okay. Tell us about your television. Was it all black and white?
Yes, I remember when we got our first telly. Now, tellies are like that, aren't they? That thick. Well, back in the day, they were that big.
Wow.
Absolutely huge. Big, fat, heavy box. And the only channels we had was BBC One and ITV.
There was only 2 channels.
Only 2 channels.
But
so you know now that you get channels dedicated to children. Well, we didn't have that. On a Saturday morning, yeah, you'd have children's programmes, and all in the afternoon it would be sports, racing, football, that. And after school, I remember after school, I think there were children's programmes till about 6 o'clock. And then after that it was the news and all adults programmes. And then that was the end of children's programmes for the day.
wow.
Mm.
We have an Xbox one. Was there anything like Xbox when you were a child?
Absolutely not. No, it was all board games and things like Kaplunk and things that needed batteries, but no, the technology that you understand today, your Xboxes, even your mobile phones where you can record all stuff, we didn't have a single thing like that at all.
So it's just TVs.
TVs, board games. We spent a lot of time outside, playing in the park, playing in the gardens, you know, our friends' houses. Now, we didn't spend so much time in front of screens or television.
Oh, so I've got a question. Another question.
Go on.
When you said about the park that you used to go there, like was some of the parks like big?
Oh yeah, the park near our house was huge.
Oh.
It was sort of like 3 parks into one, really. It had a golf course there and everything. Yeah.
Wow. Was there central heating to keep your house warm?
As I got older, obviously my mum and dad had central heating put, but not in the beginning. I remember we had coal fires. I mean, it's not really politically correct to burn coal now because of climate and everything else, and I understand that. But in the day, we didn't really understand that. So we used to have coal fires. You know, you start them off, put some wood in there, and then catch that to burn, and then put coal on it, and that used to have to heat the whole house. And it was it used to be very hot, and to be honest, I loved it.
Oh.
Nice.
What were cars like? What were cars like?
That's a bit of a hard one to say, really, because cars basically are cars. They drive you, but the design, the shape was a lot different. I remember the first car that my dad got, and I remember it was a Ford Zephyr. And if you ever see a picture of one, they are huge. Yeah. And there wasn't all these digital radios. I think there was a radio that you slotted in, and very basic. How the mechanisms to drive it, and a very, very basic radio. That was it.
Oh. We have a massive amount of choices for dinners and food. Did you?
No.
Oh.
No. Because now you can, everything comes, well, not everything, but you can get a lot of stuff from overseas and stuff. And just the way things were produced then was a lot less capable, I suppose, if you want to use that word, than what it is now. So it was all basic stuff, you know, basic bits of meat, sausages, just really basic stuff. The choice wasn't there. The fruits weren't there. Like now you can get all kinds of fruits. But I remember when I was a child, the only time we ever tasted anything exotic was when your great-grandfather used to go back home to Dominica in the West Indies, and he'd come back with mangoes and things like that, and that was the only time we ever got exotic fruit.
Oh. Wow.
Yeah.
So there was only like you didn't get fruit only when you had to.
You got basic fruit, you got things like bananas, apples, and things like that. But if you wanted, like now, you can just walk into one of the supermarkets and buy a mango, buy a passion fruit. But you couldn't then. You couldn't.
Oh. Wow. Okay. So
Yeah.
you just ate like normal fruit that you'd get, not
Yeah.
like expensive.
No.
Okay. What did you do for fun?
Well, I used to read a lot. But like I said to you before, we spent a lot of time down the park. And back in our day, it was very, very safe to play out on the street. So me and my brothers, we used to play out on the street in front of our house up 9 o'clock at night, perfectly safe, with other children in the street. It was fun.
What chores did you do?
You know, my worst day of the week was a Saturday.
Why?
Well, I'd have to get up on a Saturday and I'd have to clean my bedroom, clean my brother's bedroom, hand sweep the stairs, go down the high street and get the sack of potatoes. Oh, it was fun. I used to do lots of chores.
No. Was it only on a Saturday?
No, because when I used to come home from school, I used to have to help my mum to tidy up after dinner, do the washing up and stuff like that. But the main day was the Saturday. Sunday, I used to have to do the ironing. So I never actually had a day of rest. But yeah, a lot more chores than what children these days do.
Wow. Okay, so that's all the questions. So it doesn't. So from then to
So knowing what you know about how your life is now, the things that you've got, the things that you can eat and everything else, how do you think that compares to when I was younger? What are your opinions on that?
on the food, there's like we have lots of choices. Like your mum and dad will ask you, what would you like for dinner, or would you like, I don't know, like mash and sausages or something. But like when you were younger, it seems like just dinner. Was it all the same dinners?
Well, yeah, yeah. Thinking about it now, I think probably because on a Sunday we were guaranteed it was going to be a roast chicken, and I remember always on a Tuesday it was chips, sausage and chips. Always on a Wednesday it was something to do with mince. Yeah, we had, it was very restrictive because as well there wasn't. You see now you can go to the shop and you can buy all these really tasty spices, all these different spices, and people are more educated on different foods. But back in the day, there wasn't. See, now there's so many different cultures living in this country. Back in the day, there weren't that many. So the influence wasn't so much. So it was very English, for want of a better word. Very English, very boring.
So you were very bored about the dinners.
No, because I didn't know any better. Because when I was a child, obviously, you just eat what your parents give you. And if you don't know that, if every shop you go to is selling the same kind of stuff, it's okay. It's normal. But as time has gone on and the world has become more open to us, we were then able to experience the different spices, the different tastes, and different foods. So now, that's become the norm, to be able to experience different things like that.
So, from what you've said, we can see that there are some similarities and some differences, but it's very different. So, I've learned quite a lot.
Yeah,
I'm impressed. So we know that there wasn't a lot of choices for food, that
the buses were different and
yeah,
you
completely
were being
different,
stupid on one.
Yes.
and that wheels aren't square.
Like I said, do I look that old?
No.